the people who can do it. The Winans.
Right next to Hometeam, he's way too analytical. He's into the numbers. He likes touching people, which we don't appreciate. He's our man, front office Lowe's, Carlos Medina.
This is one of those opportunities where something can possibly really go good for Atlanta. And I would just say this. For covering this team, as much fun as we had, can you imagine adding potentially 2 top 10 picks? Suddenly, every single night becomes appointment television watching these Atlanta Hawks.
And let me be very clear. I only want positive vibes in this.
Yes, absolutely. Right there with you.
I don't want the woe is me Atlanta stuff. If it happens that they get the 5th pick and the 9th pick, or gosh forbid, we lose our pick to Dallas the 2nd, it'll all happen tomorrow.
Stop putting it out there.
I'm just saying beforehand, let's be positive and think the dream can happen. It can happen if you believe.
The franchise Chernoff is looking for its 2nd title. Okay? We've been here before.
By the way,
we haven't been here before.
By the way, if you go down to the Hawks offices, you can see the first one. That thing is...
So, Hometeam and I were working together on a Saturday, and he reminded me, how could I forget about the St. Louis Hawks, or was it the Tri-City Hawks? I'm sorry.
Yes, all right.
The Tri-City Hawks who won a championship in like 1950...
58, 59?
7?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
So, my apologies to the Tri-City Hawks, this Atlanta Hawk team trying to find their 2nd
There you go.
championship team. Now, you guys will know the way this is going to play out tonight. We're going to watch the lottery unveiled with you, with Hometeam and Carlos. Chris Dimino is going to join us, a cast of thousands. The Hawks have a 10.5% chance to make the miracle happen. But as we're watching the unveil, Los, tell the viewers here, get off your phone. I feel like we're at your house.
Listen, I'm doing both things right now.
It's like a GM.
Tell the people what would be bad news as far as teams popping up, and we'll have the board for you right here throughout the lottery.
So the way the system works, I'm sorry, there's my phone going off here with our stuff.
What an amateur. Amateur. You're touching me.
We're trying to build a championship here.
Touching me.
So here's how this is going to work, and this is what's fascinating about this. Basically, it works like this. The first 4 picks are the only thing that's in play when it comes to the NBA draft lottery. So 14 teams are competing for the top 4 spots. As soon as those top 4 spots are filled, it then goes in the order of where you finish your season from 5 all the way to 14. So as you watch these teams, for instance, right at the bottom of the draft board, Sacramento, Miami, Charlotte. As long as those 3 teams go exactly in that order, that guarantees that none of them jumped into the top 4. So as we continue to move down this board, as long as the Dallas Mavericks show up at 9, and it shows where their pick is, then you know the Hawks are still in play and no one's jumped into that top 4. That's the whole key thing. If there's some surprise, it's because somebody jumps into the top 4.
Look, he's the brains of the operation. You have to defer to his analytics. The man is spot on. I'm just looking for a picture of a horse. Okay? Once I see the horse show up, we're in good sailing. We need to make sure that horse shows up probably around the number 9 pick, and then the dream, the vision of Travis Schlenk, who traded Luka Doncic for Trae Young, and this lottery pick will come true.
All right, let's go over some of the numbers here. For the Hawks, we know to get the first pick overall, they have a 10.5% chance. They also have a 10.5% chance for 2, 3, or 4. Only a 2.2% chance of getting the 5th pick. Here are the 2 you want to watch, you want to avoid, right? When the lottery unveil gets to about 7 and 6, at 7, there's a 26.7% chance the Hawks would have 7. So if you get by there and the Hawks haven't come up, you start to get a little more excited. And then at number 6, the Hawks have a 19.6% chance of landing that pick, 8.8% chance of getting the number 8, and only has a 0.6% chance of getting number 9, just to give you some of the math on this.
Well, it seems like you are in a very good position.
Let's hope so.
And let's just have a little bit of luck shine on a Hawks wing one day. I think it is out of our hands, but I think you're going to be in a situation where no matter what, you're going to get a top 10 pick, maybe 2 top 10 picks. How can the franchise be changed once you get to that point after the lottery has been determined?
Now, Los brought up the number. So the Mavericks have a 46.4% chance of getting the number 9 pick. If we start seeing the unveil and they're not there at 9,
think bad things.
Think very bad
things.
things.
They jumped in the top 4.
Correct. The way this works is pretty simple. They can only get 9, 10, 11, or 12, or jump right into the top 4. If they do that, kibosh the Hawks' chances to take their pick.
And that's the other thing that goes along with this, too. If the Mavericks were to show up suddenly at 9, 10, 11, or 12, anywhere outside of 9, 10, 11, or 12, that means one of those teams at the back end of the draft that was sitting on a 1% chance has jumped into the top 4. So you want to watch it just play out accordingly. Sacramento, Miami, Charlotte, L.A., Minnesota, and then Dallas.
And again, at the top of the lottery, I'll just remind you, the top 3 teams each have a 14% chance. being the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Suns. The Bulls at 12.5 and the Hawks at 10.5. Right behind the Hawks, the Wizards have a 9% chance. New Orleans after that, and Memphis and Dallas with a 6% chance. They had a coin flip essentially to determine 7, 8, and 9 the way that was going to work. I told you I don't believe in fixes. I really don't. But if somehow the Lakers, who have a 2% chance, zoom up the board and end up with Zion, then I start to question life.
Well, we've brought this up before. You brought it up last week. The Chicago Bulls won this draft lottery several years ago when it was Derrick Rose with a 1.7% chance. So it's not unheard of. The Orlando Magic, they won it when you talk about having Shaquille O'Neal, yet still winning it with a very small percentage chance.
So they were the 1.4% chance. So we've seen two teams win it with less than 2%. The Hawks have a 10% chance, and they're, like, you could say 10% is a very long shot, right, home team? But the three teams at the very top, they're only dealing with a 14% chance. So I think this might be one of the wild lotteries because the number went down from 25% that was at the top in years past. With now trying to kill the tanking idea, it's down to 14.
And I know we're making this about us, but also remember, as it should be, but also remember a lot of those combinations that the Mavericks will have, they have split those three ways as well. So there's some other teams, when you talk about the wild and wacky, you know, somebody we're not even talking about, not even on the radar, but if Memphis ends up with a shot to be up in there in the front of the line, that really throws a lot of monkey wrenches in whatever people were gambling on as far as where they thought Zion Williamson was going to end up.
Can we talk for a second? Just you and me. Tell me, just explain to me the emotion that will run through your body, through the home team blood, if you see that number 1 come up and it's the Pac-Man logo. Can you put into words what that would feel like?
It used to be Terminus, and then they changed the city's name to Atlanta. It used to be Phillips Arena, now State Farm Arena. Change
He's preaching.
will have come the way it should be. And it's not about me or you, Chernoff. We've lived this.
Sure.
We've grown up in this town and watched us almost get ready to get there. This is about the children. This is about your children. This is about the young Chernoffs, the young Medinas.
Sure.
I don't have children, but your children are my children. The children of Atlanta might get a chance to see something we have never seen in our lives. And I'm trying to contain myself and be a professional while this thing unfolds.
Whitney Houston was right when she talked about the children.
They're our future.
They are the future.
Yes. And home team points this out, Los.
He's sexual chocolate now.
See, what? You won't understand this with your Spurs history of all those, what are those things called when you win everything?
They call them championships, rings.
For us, it's sad that as a fan of a franchise that harkens back to a painful Game 7 30 years ago, 1988, Celtics-Hawks, that's still what we go back to, or truthfully, kind of fake number 1 seed teams in 93 or 94, the 2015 team that was fun, that really wasn't a championship team. We just don't have much to compare what a great moment would feel like.
I've talked about this in the past, and I think it's completely legitimate. I would trade where my San Antonio Spurs team is right now for where the Hawks are right now, in part because there's nothing worse than being in the middle. And credit to Travis Schlenk in this group who realized re-signing Paul Millsap keeps you in the middle. Keeping Al Horford on a monster contract keeps you in the middle. They decided to strip it down and let's go forward. And so tonight is that culmination of some very young, interesting players on this roster with the ability to add perhaps another franchise guy or two. That's how you quickly turn things around and become a real factor in the East and have it be legitimate this time around.
Well, that's the problem. We haven't drafted our superstar. When we look at Los and how he sweats championship rings out, they got a chance to draft David Robinson. They got a chance to draft Tim Duncan. They got a chance to draft Manu Ginobili. They got a chance to do Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard. They got a chance to, make those moves. So we haven't had that chance to have a guy that's just hours from the get-go, no waiting and wondering in the offseason. And tonight could be a night where all of that changes. Oh, by the way, Trae Young looks like he's pretty good. Now you have two guys and whatever John Collins is going to be that can kind of start your core and start the ride to the future.
Well, the other part of this is what Zion can mean on the court and off, right? The on the court, we know how exciting it can be. To think what he could mean for a city, whether it's us or Phoenix or Cleveland or New York, the commerce, the ticket sales, the TV ratings, the jersey, he becomes, and I said this the other day, I don't know how you rank the top 5 or 6 Atlanta sports stars right now. Zion will bump right in the day he's drafted, or tonight at 8:40, you find out the Hawks are he's already on the list.
It's easy to delve into hyperbole and go crazy. I think if you ask most people who's the biggest star in town, you'd say Julio Jones.
Agreed.
Julio Jones plays one time a week for a couple of months out of the year. Zion Williamson will be playing multiple times. I'm sure he'll be on a lot of nationally televised games. And unlike a lot of stars in the past, he's grown up in the social media era. He will be already equipped to deal with what you have to do. His personality already seems like it is galvanizing and a little bit electric. Throw all of that in. I don't know how you say he doesn't surpass Julio Jones, but certainly he will be one of the top 2 stars in this town if he is in Atlanta.
And I think people that really have been paying attention to what's been going on in Atlanta over the last 10 or 15 years, we have become this mecca of entertainment. We are truly Los Angeles on the East Coast. And so when you start talking about dropping in somebody who is the most famous basketball player in all of college basketball, wow, that's dropping a lighter right into a powder keg. It's ready to explode if he happens to be the guy.
Well, from a basketball perspective, I find it interesting those outside of our city who are paying attention, because you've seen a lot more in the last couple of weeks of where would Zion fit best, what would be best for him. And you're seeing a lot of NBA folks realizing what we are, that this situation with Trey, with Collins, with Lloyd Pierce's system, the way they want to go about it, Zion would, fit like a glove to me. And I know there have been talks about him and John Collins. I think you could work that situation out perfectly. And Trey would just make them better. And as he's joked, it would be Lob City Part 2.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of big bodies diving to the rack. There's going to be a lot of highlights on SportsCenter. There's going to be a lot of fast break points. And, he's just not some big guy. He's very athletic. Yeah. He's fleet of foot to be a big guy. So just take away all the stuff off the court. His ability, his skill set is such that the pace that Lloyd Pierce and the Hawks play, he'll fit right in. Does he have some things he needs to work on? Yes. Does he need to go right a little bit more? Yes. But those things will come over time. And I just think youth, excitement, energy, all of those things are added up when you add him in, if you do, tonight to John Collins in the trade.
But it's different basketball, and we all recognize that. It used to be we used to go into a draft and say, I really need a 2, I really need a 3. Yeah. Now it's at the end of games, and largely when games are decided, it's my best 5 on the floor. And it doesn't matter if one guy has a similar skill set or does similar things to the other guy. If I have my best 5 on the floor, that's now what's dictating NBA ball games.
Well, and I've described Zion to me, and it's kind of like an alien, right? There's no great comp. I see some Charles Barkley. I see some Blake Griffin. I see some Draymond Green. And Draymond's the comp I want to use for what you just mentioned. When the Golden State Warriors go small and they play Draymond at the 5, which they do that a good bit. Yeah. If you could do that with a Zion, because Zion and John you could interchange. Collins is 6'10", Zion's 6'7", but he's 285, so he's going to overcompensate for that. You could absolutely go small and have this uber athletic team on the floor that can get up and down, pass the ball, and finish at all areas on the starting 5 or whoever's in the game at that point.
Right, the game has changed, over the last few years, right before our eyes. Everybody's yanking threes. Zion will be yanking threes as well. So you have to get away from what basketball started out as. Right now, it's in a situation where if you can play at a high pace, watch your turnovers, knock down threes, and make your free throws, which is what the Golden State Warriors have been doing the last 4 out of 5 years, you're going to be in a good place. What the Milwaukee Bucks are doing is what a lot of teams are doing. That's what Lloyd Pierce and Travis Schlenk, who came from Golden State, what they're trying to do. You can see what they're trying to do. They just need the pieces to the puzzle to run the show.
Los, is there any bust factor at all for Zion? And I'll kind of answer as I'm asking you. I just don't see the floor being that low. I see it. Like, at worst, I think he's a very good player. I think he just fits into too many situations.
And to me, it comes down to the development of his game, because there's going to be that adjustment. Now, what's different about him in comparison to a lot of these other young guys that get in the league, he's coming in with a ready-made body. I mean, it's a legitimate 280 pounds where you're going to say, listen, he's playing against 3 or 4 year vets that he's bigger than. That makes it different. The skill set, the ability to be able to step out is going to continue to improve. And so when you start talking about, bust factor or anything else, what might be the only concern? He's one of those guys that unless we're talking about some sort of weird injury that removes his explosiveness, I don't see something that's obvious to his game where you go, that's not going to get better at 19 years old.
Well, add to it, his body is unbelievable for his age. What happens when he gets in a pro conditioning?
Yeah,
and a strength and conditioning program where it's like a year-round, there's nothing else to distract you but basketball? That's kind of scary.
But could he be a bust? Yes. Anybody picked at number 1 could be a bust. There have been number 1s that didn't work out. That being said, we're being positive tonight here on the show.
And why are you looking at me like that?
Bottom line,
home team's talking.
The bottom line is, if he is a bust, what does that mean? Does that mean he's a double-double guy? Does that mean he's a 13 and 8 guy? You can't be at number 1, not take the guy, worried about whether or not he would have been a bust. You have to take the guy, and based on everything that we've seen and
skill set,
he can be fine.
All right, don't go anywhere. We got another special guest. No, I didn't mean on the floor. You're not a child.
Oh, no.
I promise you. Hey, Chris Dimino's coming up around the corner.
The GOAT.
This thing's about to get turned up when Dimino's here. And ladies, tight shirt today. Dimino, yes, Dimino joins us next. The countdown is on.
Call me Reek.
Thank you, Theon. We will have Dimino here. It's our NBA Draft Lottery countdown. Zion Night in Atlanta continues next.
Golf course is in great shape. Forrester, these guys at Legacy Lanier had it in just championship form out there. Greens were perfect, able to make a lot of putts today.
And Team Blue defeats Team Kincaid 18 under to 16 under. And why are you cheering, Caitlin?
Sorry.
Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sorry, John. Why are you cheering? Dogs!
Head over to 680thefan.com/Buck and Kincaid Classic to reserve your place today.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Get off of me!
We brought the A game today.
Yeah! Puke and Rally, let's go!
Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th anniversary retro t-shirt, like Hudson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retro-buck. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good.
680 The Fan is giving you another shot to get back on the course. The second green card of the season is on sale this Friday, and it's bigger than ever. With bigger courses like Harper Club on Lake Oconee, Bears Best, the Orchard Resort Golf Club, Heritage Golf Links, and Cherokee Run Golf Club. Our first card sold out in 20 minutes, so make sure you're there early this Friday before they sell out, only at 680thefan.com.
All right, we continue here. It's our NBA. Gentlemen, please, a little decorum here. It's our NBA Draft Lottery Spectacular with home team Brandon Leak. I'm Matt Chernoff. We welcome in a true son of the South. I mean, he's been here down long enough, right? The Yankee is still in him, but not enough. He's Chris Dimino. Chris Dimino, we need good vibes out of you. Tell me you sit on that couch and you're bringing positive vibes.
So let me tell you this. When Furman Bisher, one of the all-time great Southerners, says, "You're one of us, it's okay."
Sure.
I feel like I truly am. When somebody says, "How often do you go home?" I say, "Every night." How about you?
I like that.
This is where I live. So my kids wear all Hawk stuff. They wear Brave stuff. So we're in. Here's the thing. I can go John Nash like everybody else. 10%, 14%, 14%, 10%. Oh, my God, who's that guy with the little girl speaking in a British tone? We don't need any of that stuff tonight. There's no John Nash. There's no boogeyman. There's no nothing. Tonight, You're either going to get it or you're not. Jamie Gertz, a little bit of pressure on, going back for the second year. Let's
put it on her. What is she going to do?
You get 2 shots.
We got to blame somebody.
She moved us up to 3 last year.
We get 2 shots.
Root and blame for some. We have to get somebody who's the champion and somebody who's the GOAT.
I also want to mention, I love when a guy who's got 5 rings in 20 years says, "You know what I do? I trade my team for yours right now. Give me your 5 rings, and then we'll have a conversation."
I feel like
that's not
Los
a
just
real
got called out. No, listen, and that's fantasy to us, right? To understand, forget 1 championship, but 5 is like a different world. Chris, I've said this many times. To say an NBA Finals game in Atlanta sounds like something mythical, right? Miami's hosted NBA Finals games. Orlando's hosted NBA Finals games. Every city that you can come up with outside of Charlotte has hosted NBA. For us ever to think in that realm just seems made up.
So I want to ask you guys a question. How good could it be? Let's play the vision of how good could it be? Not just with this guy, but it's this guy and $80 million, by the way. $80 million, which lets you buy any 2 that you want. Get the draft right, have $80 million. Do you envision, could this town, who, by the way, I'm tired of defending this town to the Michael Wilbons and all these other people who just want to take shot. Could we pull a Toronto? Could we do an outdoor thing where if the Atlanta Hawks were in an NBA Finals, could we have a visual that when you put on TV, you go, "Oh, wait, that's what this town is when things are going well"?
I have said, in Home Team, I want to hear what you think. See, if you would ask me that question in 1988 about the Braves, and I'm only going to reference that because we were thought to be a dead baseball team. 1991 was like something I've never experienced in my life, so my answer to you is I think a Hawks Finals would be unbelievable. Especially the first. Anytime it's the first, I think it would be like something we've never seen before, from the bandwagon fans to the longtime guys like us. It would just be something we could all experience for the first time. How many things do we get to experience together for the first time?
Right.
Nobody's ever experienced an NBA Finals, so I think it'd be enormous.
And I think that goes to your point about the national flag. Oh, look at how many people aren't there at X event. Bottom line is we haven't seen repetitive championship level winning outside of the Atlanta Braves. And so, yes, to your question, yes. And I think, not to take away from anybody, what if you had 2 Chainz out there? What if you had T.I. out there? There's going to be a party. One thing that we have demonstrated as Atlanta fans, you give us a product, you give us something that is consistent, and you give us something that looks like a winner, we're no different than any other fan base in any other sport around the country.
Well, style matters, too. And I wish it didn't always, but this is a fun team already.
Yes.
I said this is the most fun I've had watching a 29-win team. And sadly, I've watched many 29 or 30-win teams add a Zion or whoever they get in the draft and continue to add. Like, if you're the cool thing in town, that sells, man.
You know how I know this team registered, at least to some degree? They're the best sub-30 win team in terms of Sports Center coverage. I always say, how good a story, how big a story are you? What part of the hour are you actually being talked about in Sports Center? This team won 29 games, yet there were more highlights, I think, of this team than really in a lot of years. Certainly years when they won 40 games, 44 games, 45. This team was at least interesting enough nationally to be talked about. So much so that how many articles and how many people have you heard say out loud, the best city for this kid? The best city for this kid is Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they start to list the reasons why, and you go, wait, that's us. That's why. I know 10.5% is real.
Sure.
I know 14% is real. 1% will all lose our minds. 2% will all lose our minds. But I don't really care about the numbers tonight. I actually like the idea that people believe that if this guy comes here, it's great for the league, good sign for us, it's great for the organization, and honestly, it's great for the basketball fan base. And we do big numbers, do we not?
Yes.
TV
Atlanta.
numbers. We
For
do
the finals,
TV numbers
right.
for the finals.
Yes.
Correct. Yep.
To your point, and the highlight reels and the attention the Hawks got, that was from one guy. That was from Trae Young having nutties. What if there was a duo? What if there was a Shaq and a Penny? What if there was a Shaq and a Kobe? What if there was a Grandmama and an Alonzo Mourning?
Goodness.
We haven't had that. Let's see if we can have that tonight. It would be tenfold because these guys are young, and everybody, even folks who don't know or watch basketball, they've seen Zion Williamson, so it really adds to the pie.
I think that's a great point. The last 2 years, whoever gets Zion, if it's the Hawks, you would have the 2 most famous college basketball players in the last 2 years, and we're at a point where nobody's famous in college basketball anymore. To have Zion come in with the hype and attention, LeBron's the last, I think, generational, on and off the court talent, right, that everybody said we're going to all watch the second he gets to the NBA. I think Zion is a close second.
Let me ask you this. If he had his talent and he played for Washington.
It's different.
He played up, no doubt. It's centralized. He's almost ours regionally, and unlike hockey where you never see a guy, Major League Baseball where you don't see a guy for 3 and 4 years, we've seen this guy. And whether the hype is too much or not, whether he is Blake Griffin, whether he is Larry Johnson, who, by the way, people don't know. If you're the wrong age, I'm sorry. Larry Johnson in college and Larry Johnson his first few years in the NBA was a beast.
Yes.
He was a man. If he's that, and then we actually get more around him, where he's not Ralph Sampson, where you go, remember the problem with Sampson? Everybody just said the minute you get Ralph Sampson didn't have a bad NBA career.
Yeah, he's fine.
18-10, 18-12, whatever the heck the numbers were. People don't remember that.
He was supposed to be Kareem.
Patrick Ewing was supposed to be the guy who brought rings to New York. It's too much pressure legitimately for a 19-year-old, but at the end of the day, I agree with you. The idea that we actually sort of birth this, he's not a trade, he's not a free agent, he's not anything. He just becomes ours from minute one.
And just like Chernoff said, there's nothing wrong with a little sizzle. A rib is good. A rib with sauce, now you're doing something. You all want some of that. We all want some of that. So
all right, well, let's talk
sauce sprinkled on.
Let's talk about Trae Young for a second, because here's something different for me. Trae has openly said, "Y'all recruit," which I love. And Trae's popular enough and has relationships enough. Like, had Paul Millsap said, "I'm going to recruit," I love Paul, but it wasn't going to resonate the same way. So I'm not naive enough to think that the Hawks will sign Kevin Durant or Kawhi. But I think for the first time they might get a meeting. And I think that's a big deal, to get the meeting and get them in the room, and then all of a sudden, who knows what happens when you get them inside that room. To me, that's a huge thing.
Can I tell you what's very Atlanta about this? And I'm not being negative.
Uh-oh.
But no. But there is something Atlanta about this, that the $80 million with the chance to go get free agents now, we might be a year off.
And it's the wrong time in a year.
Right.
Now, they have 40 this, so we should be honest. They have 40, and then they have Bays and Plumlee coming off next year.
They want 80. They want 2 shots.
Sure.
But it's not the free agent class of this year.
Yep.
So I don't know who's going to be eligible. I don't know who's going to walk away.
Anthony Davis is it in a year.
Right, but who is willing to walk away from the team that owns them being able to give them more money? You have to have a buddy come with you. That's not a one guy doing that.
No, and you
need 2.
Being realist, if you're going to be realist about the situation, then you have to look at the guys that just got their deals.
Yes.
Right.
So they'll be coming off of their deals 3-4 years from now. You start looking at the Karl Anthony Towns crew and those players of those ilk.
Sure.
That ilk.
I guess I would follow up by saying this. I don't like to hear that, well, it's too early for the Hawks. You got to follow the steps. Meanwhile, everybody's consumed with the Knicks signing Kevin Durant and someone else, whether it's Kyrie or Jimmy Butler or somebody to go with him. Why is it not too early in their process? Explain the difference.
Yeah, but you know what you need? Like C.J. McCollum, you look at that guy and you go, nobody really talks about him, but you realize how good he is. If Trey is going to be that good and John Collins is not necessarily a secret, we don't have a guy who I think next year is going to burst onto the scene where everybody goes, see how good that guy is? I don't think it's Herter, with all due respect.
No,
I think he's a
nice piece, but yeah.
But I think what they want to be able to have Trey Young, if it's recruiting, really it's a free agent who calls his buddy a year from now.
Sure.
And says, let me tell you what we're going to do in Atlanta.
I looked at, the biggest fear when you look at the free agent list, like I said, a year from now, it's Anthony Davis and then just an okay list.
It's the wrong year to have maybe $80 million.
You never want to max B-plus players. When you max a B-plus player, like Jimmy Butler to me is a B-plus player. Somebody's going to max him because somebody's got the money, somebody's going to pay it. Like, I'm even at the point where Kyrie's not a max, but he's going to get a max.
Oh, I don't want him.
Well, but you know somebody's going to give it to him.
But Travis Schlenk, his initial interview when he came to Atlanta, said that's one of the deal breakers.
Correct.
You do not pay a non-superstar superstar money,
and you get stuck.
Right, you end up you have to wait, trade, and get some other.
You know what you become what the Hawks used to be,
or
like look at the Miami Heat right now. They overpaid Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters. Now they're stuck. You don't want to be back in that spot.
The definition of a bad contract. If you talk to any GM, and the definition of a bad contract is one you can't trade today or tomorrow. That's a bad contract. Whatever you think about it when you signed it, on any given day you look around, could you trade his contract right now? If the answer is no, it's a bad contract. The NBA has a bunch of those.
Agreed. And that's where, again, you get teams who are kind of stuck in the middle. Like, don't laugh at this, because I think Russell Westbrook's an uber-talented player. It's a bad contract. They're stuck with Russell Westbrook for $40 million over the next 4 years in OKC. And to your point, as talented as he is, go ask other teams if they would take the deal. They would say no.
How about Chris Paul at the Rockets? He's on a 4-year, $160 million deal. He's year 13 of his career. What are you going to do with that?
Well, no, they appeased James Harden by saying we're going to stay relevant for the final 3 or 4 years here, but you're right. Yeah.
You've heard me say it, and I believe it in my heart of hearts. Years ago now, 5 or 6 years ago, the NBA has become a positionless. And let me give you an example that we just saw the other day. Kawhi Leonard's shot. Who tried to block that shot?
Joel Embiid.
How big is he?
Hey, he's 7 feet 2 inches tall.
What about when he raises his hand?
He's 22 feet tall.
Is there anybody bigger in the NBA? Is there anybody bigger?
Not on that shot. That was excellent defense, excellent closeout, and he didn't foul him.
I know this is not a rebound situation. I know you need a guy who can go do that. What good did his height do you at that moment? I'm tired of hearing about positions. There's no such thing as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There aren't enough 5s around the world.
Sure.
And by the way, people are scouring. They're looking everywhere to find them. They don't exist. I'd rather do, and I will give the Hawks credit for this. Lloyd Pierce realized, I want to preach defense. I want to be defense. But I ain't going to win a game if I preach defense. I'll go another year of that.
Probably. I think
the John Morant thing to me, look, I think I have a plan. If they get the number 2 pick, well.
Yeah, trade it. You can't. You know, here's the reason why.
Oh, boy.
John Morant's a talented player, but you lose something when you don't have the ball in his or Trey's hands. You're not as effective. I think you can use it as trade bait, though. You can really use that as a nice chip to drop back.
Get another first-round pick the following year, which is what you just did with Luka.
Just keep adding assets. I'm okay with that. So here's the plan B of this, and we all want Zion, right? That's obvious. We don't know enough about these. I could tell you a little bit about DeAndre Hunter, a little bit about Jared Culver, a little bit about these players. I think Travis Schlenk, when we're talking about this in June, is going to have a slant towards defense, because Lloyd Pierce said he didn't even install his system in year 1. Because of Trey and John and their athleticism and their offense, you're going to need somebody to stop the ball.
Then you have to go DeAndre Hunter.
He fits the profile.
The guy who is not the star, but he's not the guy who's going to hurt you.
So what if you get 2 or 3? Is Barrett maybe a guy that you can still trade? Because remember this. Why do we have Dallas's pick? You picked a guy, you dropped back to where you were comfortable, and you got a first-round pick. The 2 and 3 might be that. And by the way, do you want to know? I don't know if it's a 1, 2, 3 thing. I think it's probably a 1, 2 thing, and I know it's a 1 thing. Do you know how you have something big happening in your town?
How is that, Dimino?
If they get the number 1 pick tonight, do you know what's happening on their Twitter account?
What's happening?
They're going to put a phone number out to say, put your deposits in for Hawks tickets. That will happen tonight. That's not a tomorrow morning thing. That's not a tomorrow midday thing. They have a plan right now where it's all typed up.
Sure.
And what it's going to say is every level of their social media, if they get the number 1 pick tonight, call this number right now, put your deposit in for season tickets.
Do they have a personal seat license option over the next 12 hours if they get them?
I hope they don't.
I know we don't want that, but
the funny part is the last time I owned season tickets, Chernoff and I did it. We did it on the air when they came in.
Was that
with
the $6, $1?
When they did
we bought them, yeah.
$10 a game.
Is that the guarantee?
That was a playoff guarantee.
All right, dumbest move Stan Kasten's ever made.
We did it on the air, and we gave our tickets away to the people because there was excitement and a buzz in the building. We had new ownership.
They signed, I believe, something at their practice court saying, we vow to make the playoffs. That was so goofy. I don't want to do goofy anymore.
No, we're done with that.
I don't want to do goofy anymore.
It's funny. We were just talking about John Morant. Sean Devaney of Sporting News said the Hawks are one of the teams that would not have an interest in John Morant. Now, they would sell publicly like they did.
You'd pick him at 2 and you trade him.
Either that or you trade out of the spot. One or the other, right? You could do either one at that point.
But I need to know what I'm getting. I'm not trading down to a spot. I'm saying I'll take him for you. If this guy's available, you get him. Yeah. I get yours.
The fear is what if that
and I
guy's
get
not
your
available.
next year number 1 pick.
Yeah, if you can really maximize that, especially a bad team, and you would think whoever's picking 2 or 3. Like, here's the funny thing to me. The Knicks are just dying for Zion. They're trying to make this plan of getting Zion, and then that's going to entice Kevin Durant and then Kyrie.
They don't deserve anything, those people.
I'm not arguing
They
that.
do not deserve anything. That ownership group, that guy doesn't deserve anything.
Thank goodness.
We're better people. No, there's no question about it. But I guess my point on this is, like, the Knicks, even with Zion, they're not going to be a very good team. I could see the Hawks with a Zion, a Trey, a John jumping to about a 500 type of a record, and then if you had a free agent, even better. So if you're willing to do a deal with some Phoenix, New York, Cleveland, there is a chance, like what you're talking about, they're back in the lottery next year and you have their pick.
Yeah, I believe that.
Now, is that too much to ask for a team to trade that for John Morant?
Well, there are a couple of teams that they need something. New York, everybody keeps talking about New York. Chicago, they need something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that is a basketball-rich.
Lakers need something.
Lakers need something. So there are some teams that have tradition, that have storied championship runs that need something. They need a star. They need a spark. They need an infusion of talent. If they can't get it, you pick it and you talk turkey with the Hawks, and the Hawks to play hardball because they need those things. And the Hawks need one person or 2 people tonight, and they might end up being a playoff team next year.
Before he plays minute 1 in the NBA, let's say it's, oh God, I'm an expatriate when it comes to the New York Knicks. I couldn't root for them no matter what they get, who they get.
Understandable.
But if he ends up in New York and they get both Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
Oh, right.
Okay, so that's a scenario, but hold on.
That's one of them talked about.
Who gets the biggest side of a building banner? It's Zion. It's not the guy with 2 MVPs and a possibility of another ring.
They're together?
Nope.
All 3 of them.
Nope.
I wouldn't be. Yeah.
Nope.
Because that's what they did in Miami. You saw even LeBron was the biggest star. They put them all 3, and it was always them, together, pulling it off, dancing on stage.
If I'm Nike, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm renting out a side of a building. What is it, Joey Harrington? Remember that whole thing in New York City?
Sure.
It made no sense to have him up there. Zion in New York will be the bigger star, not the better player, the bigger star than both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That's how big this guy is.
Will we get these ridiculous shots at half-empty sports bars in Atlanta where 7 guys are jumping up and down if we get Zion tonight? Will we have that shot on SportsCenter tonight?
Well,
yes. Because in New York, I bet there are people just shoved in places watching this thing tonight.
Well, yeah, it means a little bit more because they've. To your point, when you say those people,
1973.
It's a little strong.
Why do you call them those people?
Yeah, that's a little strong. I would use those people.
I was those people. Nobody's more allowed to say those people more than me.
Those people is a little strong. The Knick fans,
right?
They, to your point, you're talking about 1970, which really started in the
1973,
and then 73, and that's it.
They're going to trot out Earl Monroe. They're going to trot out everybody who's still alive from those teams and say, but the good chance is they're going to have a hard time finding those guys to actually get in front of a camera.
All right, one quick note. We have some breaking news. Are you guys sitting down? Trae Young has just tweeted, fingers crossed emoji. The vibe is strong, Dimino. Trae Young, finger crossed emoji. I mean, I'm retweeting this right now.
When he crosses fingers, people listen.
Did he snap his fingers?
When he crosses you over, people.
If he can snap his fingers and Zion comes in. I saw what you did, by the way. I saw that right there. All right, we're going to get Carlos back in. Home team will hang out. Chris Dimino, I'm Matt Chernoff. What? What are you screaming?
Questions next.
Oh, yeah, we want your questions. Whatever you write them on the screen or subscribe or something.
Click something.
Click something.
Text me. 404.
We'll continue. The countdown is real. Zion night continues next.
Golf course is in great shape. Forrester, these guys at Legacy Lanier had it in just championship form out there. Greens were perfect, able to make a lot of putts today.
And Team Blue defeats Team Kincaid 18 under to 16 under. And why are you cheering, Caitlin?
Sorry.
Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sorry, John. Why are you cheering?
Dogs!
Head over to 680thefan.com/BuckandKincaid Classic to reserve your place today.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Get off of me!
We brought the A game today.
Yeah! Puke and Rally, let's go!
Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th Anniversary Retro T-shirt, like Hudson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retrobuck. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good.
680 The Fan is giving you another shot to get back on the course. The second green card of the season is on sale this Friday, and it's bigger than ever. With bigger courses like Harper Club on Lake Oconee, Bears Best, the Orchard Resort Golf Club, Heritage Golf Links, and Cherokee Run Golf Club. Our first card sold out in 20 minutes, so make sure you're there early this Friday before they sell out, only at 680thefan.com.
All right, we continue here. We are live in our 680 The Fan cave. There's home team Brandon Leak. There's Chris Dimino. I'm Matt Chernoff. Carlos Medina is roaming around somewhere. And yes, I'm wearing shorts. Look at the legs. They look good, Dimino.
Yeah,
you see that?
Like you run a little
Look at
bit.
that. And I moisturized. Good to see you, Los. How are you? How are you? Thank you.
Lotion, sunscreen?
Yeah, lotion.
Okay.
You got a lotion. The ashy legs, nobody needs that, especially in the summertime.
Ashy is really bad.
I didn't get the memo on wearing the long pants, which it won't happen again. I blame Caitlin, our social media director, for that.
Oh, no.
All right, guys, I don't even want to have this discussion, but we will. If Zion ends up going to the Knicks, the Suns, the Cavs, give me the plan B that you want the most. Who fits best? What's the best scenario for the Hawks if they get pick 5 and 9?
I like RJ Barrett. I think he can get to the cup. I think he is a strong finisher. I think he'll be able to run. He'll improve on his three-point shooting. The best thing they should do, they should take DeAndre Hunter out of Virginia. He's a well-rounded, solid player. He can do everything you need him to do on both ends of the floor, and he is a guy who can be a glue guy, one of those tough guys that can get a stop or get a bucket late.
So you want 2 wings, you're okay? Because I'm with you. I like 2 wings, the idea there.
Oh, if we talk about with both of the picks?
picks.
No, then both of the picks, I would like to get DeAndre Hunter and go get me Jackson Hayes
So you
out
want
of
big.
Texas.
Okay.
He's 6'11", he's long, he
He's
can
long.
run. He's 73% free throw shooter. He can run with us. He'll make a difference.
We're done picking French guys, guys from Uruguay, right? We're done with
You
that,
don't want
right?
Hano Metala, you
No,
don't
we're,
want
out of,
Diao?
we're out of that business where I go, is that guy ever coming to America?
Now, there is one international player, and in the second round, there's the thought of they're going to stash and dash and that, that whole thing.
I need to fall no further than 2 to have the plan B. I get a chance to go to 4, 5, 6
Right.
and get another first-round pick. I think at 3, I don't know if that's possible. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm not
think
sure it goes past 3.
The Suns
I
and the
like
Bulls
Hunter.
are taking John Morant, too, because they both need a
Yes.
point guard, so you're right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I get 3, I get to do anything other than pick the guy that I think is the best available or the best fit on the board. I know you guys were talking about what you see early when they start to announce, how it's a lot of math and it's a lot of, and you said, if I see this logo, then I know this happened. I don't want deflation right out of the gate. You know, part of it tells me that if you're gonna get me. Just put it right here and get me out of my misery. But I want to at least have hope. I got to at least have hope.
You want to get to that commercial break where we're still alive, right? Where, the top 3 are going to be announced. You want to be there and just, drag the drama out a little bit more. I'll follow up on what Home Team said, though. With Lloyd Pierce's system, I could go either way. I have no problem taking 2 wings. If it's pick 6 and 9, and you want DeAndre Hunter, or you want Jarrett Culver, or you want Cam Reddish, or you want RJ Barrett. I think anybody's going to benefit playing with Trey. Whoever gets drafted, is he a little schwitzy?
There you go. He's a good. He deserves this kind of treatment.
I think anybody's going to benefit playing from Trae Young right when they step on the court. Defensively, you either can or can't. Offensively, he'll help you.
Yeah, defense, I think, will come over time. And, some people are saying, look, the Hawks didn't play a lick of defense at times. That's going to come. Right now, offensively, build a team that can keep yourself in games. They kept themselves in games because of the offense. So I'm more inclined to get the offensive-geared player and somebody who's ready to go right now, somebody you don't have to bring off the bench, a couple of young guys who can grow up with the team together.
Do you guys like the rule in the NBA, the 15% rule? I can go to there's a website, the Trade-O-Matic, the GM Trade-O-Matic, whatever the heck it's called. Where I can find out.
Yeah,
whatever.
Machine. Trade machine.
It's the ESPN,
so,
right?
Right. So is this legal?
Right.
Do you guys like that when it comes to the pick? Because let me just say, what if I got the number 2 pick What if I wanted to trade straight up the number 2 pick for your established guy? I don't have to worry about salary. I don't have to worry about anything. Don't you think that draft pick should be tradable for anybody? So somebody wants to get rid of a salary, or somebody says, you know what, this guy doesn't fit.
Do I like
Anthony
the rule?
Davis
No.
doesn't want to be here anymore. What if New Orleans said, here's the deal. He don't want to be here. We want the number 2 guy. Let's just do a pick. Now, maybe I got to throw something else in.
Well, that's the thing, right? So I guess 2 things I would say to you.
I hate the rule.
I don't like
get
the rule
why
either,
it's
but
around.
Yeah, because the salary cap and they want to keep the deals. Like, you could move one of your expirings. You could move a Bazemore, and you'd be close enough to with an add-in for an Anthony Davis. The thing that, like, I love the idea of Anthony Davis. Are you going to bet on yourself for a year that he's going to stay? Because that's what Toronto did with Kawhi. And you used Anthony, so I'm following
we
up
got to
on
do
him.
sign and trade.
Are you going to do Paul George and you're going to bet on yourself? Or are you going to have to wait? Because he's not going to sign.
No.
He's not going to sign before free agent.
He wants to have total control of his.
What's the number, though? What's the bite? What hit do you have to take a year from now? Is it $40 million? Is it $45 million? Because me owning your rights, I can pay you more. Now, look, Kyrie Irving can get paid more by Boston than anybody. I still think he's leaving. What's the number at which you say that bite's too big?
But I think that's all, and Los would have a better idea. I think it's slotted based on years in the league, so I think he's in the $30-something million range.
He has
in league percentage of
correct.
Right,
so
but what's he leave on the table?
Oh, well, the 5th year, that's all it is, right?
The guaranteed money
correct.
at the end of it.
Which, by the way, is 40 plus.
But we've seen guys walk away from that 5th year so much that it's amazing to me that it, quote, doesn't matter to them.
But if you're going to get 35 or 38 million for the next 4 or 5 years, then did you lose money you didn't get yet, and you got more money down the road?
Let me give you another scenario, and I brought this up on our show before. Like, if Washington, for some reason, is really punting on this situation, they can't move John Wall because it's just the unmovable contract, but would they really listen on Bradley Beal? In other words, could I say to them, we got the 9th pick, and I've got an expiring contract, which teams love expiring. Would they be willing to trade a 25-year-old with 2 years left on his deal like Bradley Beal? You put him in the backcourt with Trae Young.
That's an interesting decision because John Wall might not play at all.
Yeah.
And so you have to have something, and then you have to have
But what
something
if you
when he
start
comes
over,
back.
though?
If you're trying to start completely over, that's what that would say to me.
They moved Otto Porter to get rid of his deal. There was talk they were listening on Beal midseason. I wouldn't do it, but if they're willing to listen, I want to talk.
I'd take Bradley Beal. I'd take him.
Think of that backcourt together with him and Trae. I mean, that right there, you got something you're building on. And he's a good two-way player, too.
But you're also going to then say that $80 million they had 2 years from now probably doesn't
off the board.
exist.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay.
But can Bradley Beal entice somebody else to come, though? Like, it's always the belief, because you're right, you want to get 2 together, but if I get 1, maybe somebody else is more willing to listen.
The question is, who is that guy? Who are the $80 million guys?
Exactly.
And if they don't exist, then you have to operate business as if they don't exist. And so it would be nice a few years to have a bunch of money and have everybody come. But if your team is good enough, people will come. There's going to be a massive change in the next 3 or 4 years.
There's one thing that we really haven't talked about with both John Collins and Trae Young, though. Arrow believe pointing up, yeah, but to what level? So what do I get out of this guy or these guys a year from now? I do know this. Doesn't smell like there's diva in them. Now, Trae Young, really, quite honestly, he's not helping sell tickets. His game does.
Right.
But he's not out doing the things that you go, wow, I'm going to rally around that guy because he just chooses to do it. His business. Are these guys gym rats? Is that their personality? Well, these guys, when all of a sudden people are talking about them, what's their personality going to be in terms of how hard they're willing to work? It's still an unknown. A lot of guys have been really good for a year.
Sure.
Then all of a sudden you go, well, the league knows them. Yep. There's an expectation that's a little bit higher. What do they want to be? We worry when certain guys get paid. They're not at the point of getting paid yet. I'd like to think, I don't care what motivates a guy anymore. I don't care if it's mother, God, or country, or the almighty dollar. As long as I see you play to a level that I think it's still hard work.
With Trae, he played with a big Dorito on his shoulder all year, and I hope that doesn't go away because nobody was doubted more than Trae from the second he was drafted to the time he played in Utah Summer
Can you really
League.
run that for those years?
Can you? I don't know.
You can. If he doesn't, you can carry something over. If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year this year, you can put that in your pocket. Another something to be a little rocking in the inside of your shoe.
We got a question here from somebody watching on YouTube. Nick Rodriguez asked, worst case scenario for the Hawks. They don't get Zion. They don't go big in free agency. Where do they go? Because Travis Schlank's big key has been, I want to remain financially flexible. I know that's a dangerous term right now in Atlanta. But he wants to have flexibility in assets. So I would think it's about signing some smaller deals shorter term.
Well, I think immediately you have to start thinking about, I'm thinking, if they get their 2 picks and really good ones, they go to the playoffs next year. You have to start thinking, do you want to go to the playoffs
But
next
the
year?
worst case scenario this guy's talking about, all of a sudden we kind of look like we have the same team.
Yes.
What do we do? Do you spend money to spend it, or do you hoard it for the 80
He's not going to spend money.
I don't think
I told you, he's not spending money on average players. You will not see a Tim Hardaway Jr. type contract under Travis Schlenk.
Well, one of the heady things he did, right, at the time, and Bill Simmons and others didn't get it, to move Dennis Schroeder's money, but to take an expiring contract, because Travis Schlenk knows expiring contract equals asset. So he got a first-round pick from Oklahoma City for 2 years from now, moved Dennis's 3 years, and got an expiring contract. That's just savvy stuff that I want my GM doing.
And I moved the personality.
Correct.
Oh, my goodness, the fact that I got him out the door. Every once in a while, you know what good deals are? We talked about what a bad contract is, one you can't trade today or tomorrow. You know what a good deal is? When everybody looks around and says, you know what I think? I think we're better as an organization with that guy gone.
Well, it's when you can go to sleep. When a GM can go to
3
sleep,
a.m. phone
he doesn't
call.
have to sleep with one eye open because
Bullseye.
somebody might allegedly be at a club doing something. He can go to sleep, wake up like everybody else does.
Why are we alleging that?
Well, nothing's been adjudicated. Just like those people in New York. They're Knick fans.
Those people?
You can't say those people. They're Knick fans.
Question from Andrew watching on YouTube. What does Dimino think of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches late at night?
Oh, tremendous. With a PBR on top of that. 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, by the way. Don't sleep on toasting them. With a PBR, there's not... Listen.
What's the PBR angle?
Beer and a PBR.
Oh, no, you gotta have a glass of milk. Tall glass of milk.
No.
Wow.
And toasting the bread?
Oh, yeah.
Don't sleep, Dimino.
Don't sleep on toasting the bread.
Toast, I'm with Home Team on that. You do a little too much.
Yeah, it's late at night.
Get
the knife and the peanut butter.
Just slam them together, you got a snack.
Like a painter.
If the house is quiet, people sleep on toast because they think pulling a toaster out and hitting one little thing like this and waiting 2 minutes is too much. I'm okay with that. That's your business. My business is I'm here to enjoy the experience. People are sleeping. Sure. I got a cold PBR, 2 PB&Js.
You would not have struck me as a PBR guy.
Yeah. 11:30 at night.
Can I tell you where you've overthought this?
Haven't got boozy on us.
Again, do you cut the sandwich or you enamel?
No, I don't cut the sandwich.
Without your animal.
What am I, 3?
Well, you see the full.
What
do I ask somebody to take the crust off too?
You don't cut your sandwich?
Dare you?
Wow. All right, it's very animal of you. But if you're not doing it with a glass of milk, then you're not truly getting the experience of the peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I've never thought about the PBR. I would just go right to the milk.
Tremendous 11:15 snack.
All right, something to think about.
There's nothing as tremendous as a snack at 11:15. That's
wonderful.
And you don't go to bed though. He doesn't sleep, so at that point, it doesn't.
It's not
matter.
like I'm going to bed at 11:22. I'm up for another couple of hours.
That's a fair point. Gosh really knows what you're doing. All right, so the lottery broadcast is underway. We're going to start the procedure here coming up in a couple of minutes, and we'll keep you up to date as the picks are revealed one by one. Is it okay if I do a sidebar? Braves are down 5-0 in the fourth to the Cardinals.
It's early. We've seen this team come back and score runs late. It's all right.
I didn't need to hear that.
I just want to let you know.
Not on a night where we're supposed to be celebrating.
I know. Happy. Can I give you one positive?
Yeah, sure.
Austin Riley hit a grand slam for Gwinnett. Anyway, all right.
You know what he didn't do? Didn't hit it for the Braves.
I understand.
Not tonight.
Maybe they call him up mid-game. Who knows? It's a 30-minute drive.
Pete's fast and get him here in 10, 15 minutes.
I mean, Home Team always
I'll go get it.
You'll Uber. We'll have Home Team pick you. Austin, Home Team's waiting outside for you. He'll help you.
Hold a little sign. Mr. Riley.
All right, let me reset for you here the numbers, just so we're on the same page. I know Dimino didn't want to go John Nash, but I feel like we have to. The Knicks, the Cavs, and the Suns, remember, they have the 14% chance, the top percentage to get the number 1 pick, which I find so funny that one of those three is like, we tanked, and you have an 86% chance you're not getting Zion, so the whole year is going to be, hope you get the number 2 or 3 pick. Chicago's got a 12.5% chance, the Hawks 10.5%, and then after that it drops to Washington with 9, and then so on down the list.
You couldn't do it. You had to lose 10 more games to be even in the consideration. So you did what you had to do last year as far as getting close, getting right there, and making sure you got up there to number 3.
Read those cities again.
New York, Cleveland, Phoenix are 14%. Chicago's 12.5%. Atlanta is 10.5%.
I'll say it again. You were right earlier. We're just better people.
Well, that's true.
We've earned this.
That's very true.
I'm not kidding.
Here's what I've said the NBA is hoping for, and it's not a fix or anything else. They would love the Hawks to win this lottery, and I'll tell you why. So then Adam Silver can go, I told you tanking wasn't worth it anymore. We changed the numbers. The odds all changed. Hawks played to win games, and they get the number 1. That would be the poster child for years to come.
I'm going to have to humbly and respectfully disagree.
All right, we'll take a break then.
I think it's rigged.
Hey, you can't cut that man off. That man had a point.
It's rigged?
It's rigged if the Knicks or the Lakers have any
Knicks have a 14% chance. How can it be rigged for
either
them?
one of them?
Okay.
I'm calling for an investigation.
They didn't earn it. They don't deserve it. At what point, when is somebody going to get something they deserve? Who deserves it more than Atlanta?
Here's my question. Zion Williams.
James Dolan will be writing a song about Zion. Look at me.
If he does go to New York City, let's just say he goes to New York, What does that mean? They still don't have anything around him. They're still years off. The specter of KD and Kyrie,
what they think, right?
You know, showing up. Obviously, that would change.
You got an owner who's being sued.
Here he goes.
Who's being sued because he enjoys playing in his band more than he enjoys running an organization. That's it. In the good old days of David Stern, he wouldn't get this pick.
I thought we were at a point where
free David Stern.
Calm down. Goodness. Calm down. I thought we were at a point where market didn't matter, right? The NBA has shown us that market should not matter. This like love for New York for the last 20 years as if it matters.
Except for Phoenix and Sacramento.
But how has it hurt the NBA that New York hasn't been a factor? Show me one area where it hasn't.
You've had teams in San Antonio.
Correct.
You had teams in Oakland. You look at
Cleveland.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
The Star goes, and I'll watch wherever the Star goes. New York City. It sounds like something we're living from the 70s or 80s.
I'll disagree with you on this one.
All right, we'll take a break.
All right. When the Lakers had what was going on courtside, the NBA pushed that. New York could have that and then some.
But they have the Star sitting courtside anyway.
No.
Oh, Howard Stern sits second row. I see him.
They would be falling over themselves. They'd be sitting three on top of each other like it was Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and then some celebrity.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not see 2 Chainz sitting in our games? Chris Tucker? Sorry about that, Yankee.
What will happen if we get it here?
Oh,
we go. That's what I'm telling you.
Duke and the Doctor come back.
Oh, you're old
Courtside
school.
champions, yes.
You're
All
old
right,
school.
let's take a quick break. Dimino, deep breath. It's about to happen. Is the Zion dream going to come true? We'll find out next.
Golf course is in great shape. Forrester, these guys at Legacy Lanier had it in just championship form out there. Greens were perfect, able to make a lot of putts today.
And Team Blue defeats Team Kincaid 18 under to 16 under. And why are you cheering, Caitlin?
Sorry.
Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sorry, John. Why are you cheering? Dogs!
Head over to 680thefan.com/Buck and Kincaid Classic to reserve your place today.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Get off of me!
We brought the A game today.
Yeah! If you can rally, let's go!
Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th Anniversary Retro T-shirt, like Hudson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retro-buck. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good.
680 The Fan is giving you another shot to get back on the course. The second green card of the season is on sale this Friday, and it's bigger than ever. With bigger courses like Harper Club on Lake Oconee, Bears Best, the Orchard Resort Golf Club, Heritage Golf Links, and Cherokee Run Golf Club. Our first card sold out in 20 minutes, so make sure you're there early this Friday before they sell out, only at 680thefan.com.
All right, we continue here live from our 680 The Fan Cave. There's home team Brandon Leak and Chris Dimino, Matt Chernoff, and Carlos Reek Medina here right now. I'm not sure what he's doing there.
He won't put down that paper with all his numbers.
Yeah, all he wants to do is he's trying to track the lottery when it begins. I want to give ESPN some credit on this. Now, we came on the air here at 7:45. They started at 7 o'clock with a pregame for opening envelopes. This is like Howie Mandel opening the briefcases with a pregame show.
We were eating pizza at 7:44.
Yeah, we were. We're really not supposed to tell the audience that because we're supposed to be prepping.
It's all right. They're the people. They have a right to know. They can handle it.
Dimino, before the draft lottery begins, let me explain to you the plight of the Hawk fan.
Please.
Because I know you've been here long enough.
Yeah.
But you look around this room, and bless the people who put this together. I'm looking at Ira Newble, Jason Terry, Spud Webb, Zaza Pachulia.
That's who we are.
I mean, how's this happened?
That's who we are.
Like, I can't live my life this way for another 40 years.
And hopefully you won't have to.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to bring my Ed Gray jersey.
22, right?
Yeah, but I was told not.
Dallas Comagees, it doesn't fit anymore. Yeah. So.
What number did Adam Keefe wear? Do we care? Was he 31 or something?
Was he 31 or was he 33? I can't
Doesn't
remember.
matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Listen,
Alan Henderson and
44.
And Ed Gray the same year?
No, they were a year apart, but Alan Henderson, when you win comeback player of the year because you're actually healthy, like he could never stay healthy. That was another one of the Hawk first round picks. Yes, Reek.
Captain Jack.
What's he talking about?
Well, Steven Jackson was
He wasn't
Hawk
a draft
leader,
pick,
and then
though.
He said he wasn't going to play anymore, and so they didn't.
Why don't you just say Greg Norman?
He threatened home
Greg
team.
Norman or Ken Norman.
Ken Norman.
There you go. Greg Norman's a good golfer now.
Sorry.
All right, so they're introducing the dignitaries right now on the draft lottery, which I used to love this because the Clippers would be in this thing every year, and I get used to seeing Elgin Baylor year after year to become a joke.
And you know what people would say? Elgin's still alive.
Yes.
That's what would happen once a year.
Right.
He's Elgin Baylor. By the way, there should have been a moment when you're that great as a player, they shouldn't put you through that.
Thank you. Stop going.
Yeah, they should have a
Send the ball boy.
An emissary.
Yeah. Well,
Here's our lady.
Jamie Gertz. Hi, Jamie.
She's a lady. Look at her.
I love you. There she is. Listen, she survived the twister. She's surviving this.
Is that Horace Grant?
And she's
That is Horace Grant with the Bulls.
vampires in the Lost Boys.
Thank you.
She also had that really hardcore woman-on-woman scene in that 2001 movie.
Hey, man.
Listen, that's my
man.
owner's
Family.
Hold on, man.
That's my
What?
owner's
What,
wife.
Show
man?
some respect,
I'm
man.
just saying.
That's my owner's
Well, how
wife.
did you describe it?
Hardcore.
So it was like Cinemax.
All I'm saying was it was very believable, and I liked it.
So she's a good actress.
Yeah, she's outstanding.
That's over the line.
Bring it home, Jamie.
What was that movie?
I don't remember the name. I just remember her.
Can I get the book? Is the book doing justice? I feel like I would not be doing myself.
NC-17.
I'm gonna
is
look
what
for
it was
pictures.
My
All
owner's
right.
wife.
Goodness.
So we're gonna start here in a second. I hope with ESPN beginning to give us
Less than zero.
Less than. Thank you. Less than zero is the movie. Again, the book does it no justice.
Why am I nervous? So we got a truth be told. We got a TV on, and there's just people now starting to walk around.
Right.
I don't know if there's anything official going on, but I'm so scarred as an Atlanta fan that I get nervous that somebody's doing me dirty every time I see
Chris,
somebody walking around.
The envelopes have been delivered. The envelopes are out. Somewhere in that envelope says a Hawk logo, and hopefully it will be revealed at number one.
Why can't they do this like the raffle after church? Why do we have to have everything done behind the scenes?
You want
Just
it?
roll it
I
and
agree.
pull the names.
And what happens at those? It's like bingo. Somebody screams, "You're doing me dirty," and then
Here
they
we
have
go.
to justify.
All right, everybody, here we go. Number 14 is coming off the board. Mark Tatum is introduced. Who's Mark Tatum? He's doing it. Here we go. The first envelope, the Boston Celtics.
From Sacramento, that's good.
Good news. All right, the
Sacramento
Celtics
pick.
14. Very good.
You want Miami right here.
Everything's under control. We're looking for Miami right now. Everybody root for the Heat. Go Miami. Dimino, put your phone down. Not now. We're in very serious mode. Right? No, we're not in the phone mode.
There we go.
There's the
All
Heat.
right.
We're good so far.
We're in our
All right,
favor.
very good.
Now we want Charlotte.
We were looking for Charlotte. Charlotte Hornets, Lowe's tells us number 12 is what we want on the board right now.
I found the scene, by the way.
Oh, 3 for 3
Lowe's
so
is 3
far.
for 3.
Okay.
All right, LA Lakers is what we want here.
We're looking for the Lakers right now. Right now, we're looking for LA. LeBron shouldn't have anything good. Oh!
No.
Minnesota Timberwolves were just pulled at number 11. What does that mean, Los?
Well, that's the problem.
That means they go right to the Lakers and they go, "Oh, we're in a pretty good
Are they in the
place."
top 4?
It's rigged.
Wait a minute, the Lakers are in the
Yes.
top? Shut up.
Yes.
No!
Just happened.
I told you.
No! No! The Maverick pick conveys to the Hawks at number 10.
Okay.
So we get our pick at 10. It could have been 9, so 10 is okay. We're
all right.
Everybody calm down. We're fine right now. The Lakers thing
Next
threw
one
us through a little
needs
bit
to
of a
be
loop.
Memphis. Washington.
Wizards at 9. I'm getting very uncomfortable right now. This is.
You honestly don't know what's happening.
I
right
have
now.
no idea.
No, here's the problem. You now have 2 teams that jumped into the top 4.
Could it be
So
us?
that is knocking the Hawks pick down.
Oh, it couldn't be us?
Oh.
No! We fell to 8.
Oh,
The
no.
Atlanta Hawks will pick 8 and 10.
Oh, no.
Way to go, Jamie!
Gertz just did this. Oh, are you serious?
She should have gone with the
I'm
red
telling you,
dress.
if the Lakers get this one, I'm quitting.
I told you it was rigged.
I'm telling you, if they get the 1, the Bulls come in at number 7.
The Lakers had a 2% chance.
Stop it right now.
I told
this
you.
pick.
I
Get
told you.
out.
LeBron's not working out. They want
We're
the
going to get the 8 and the 10.
West Coast to ride.
Number 6. Oh, this is amazing. We're going to have the Knicks and the Lakers in the top 2 or 3.
Well, if you ever wanted to reinforce not tanking, this is the way to do it.
The Suns fell to 6.
No. That's all right.
My goodness.
This
This is going to be a disturbing.
Oh, my goodness. So right now you got the Lakers.
This is ridiculous. It's just
All right,
ridiculous.
here we go to number 5 right now. Cleveland has fallen to 5. Remember, Cleveland and Phoenix both had a
This is
14%
ridiculous.
chance.
They don't deserve a number 1. After
This
that.
is
so now it's the
amazing.
Knicks along with them. There you go. There's
Well,
your
the
top
Knicks
4.
had the tie. Right. We have
told
Knicks,
you.
Bulls, Lakers, and who's our 4th in this?
New Orleans.
Pelicans. Unbelievable. They're going to lose Anthony Davis and get somebody new now. Let's
2
see.
of those are NBA
Let me tell you this.
wastelands.
If they pull out Walt Frazier tonight to celebrate this,
I mean-
I'm going to be the most torn person in America.
What the
Don't do
Lakers?
that to
But,
Clyde.
like,
Oh, yeah, there's your sports bar scene.
there you go. Great. Wonderful.
From New York City.
I mean, are you serious, man? The Laker thing is going to get me really bothered.
Look, they probably already have a cold thing set up. Patrick Ewing has a glove on. What's going to be cold?
Somewhere
cold
LeBron's
frozen.
making a sinister face and he's laughing. So the top 4 will come up next. Lakers, Knicks, who did we say? Bulls and Pelicans in some order.
At least the Knicks one makes some sense because they were one of the teams that had a 14%
Los,
chance.
8 and 10 does me no good.
I know.
When are we going to get back to who deserves something and who doesn't around?
8 and 10. Home team.
Well, I'm not surprised. You see what they're
10
doing.
minutes ago, we were so positive.
No. Now I've assessed the situation. You see what they're doing. They wanted it to go this way. Forget combinations. Forget luck of the draw. You see what's going on right here. They want stars in L.A. and they want stars in New York City. LeBron might not even finish out his contract. Put the top back on that. Did we open it up yet?
As a sidebar, the Braves are down 8-0.
No, you know what? I'll need this for later on. I'll need it.
Of course they are.
Just to let you know.
Of course they are.
What's the score?
Faulty gave up 8 runs in 4
no.
2/3. Good night so far.
Word is
He was
Ender has
watching
some
the-
sort of little injury too.
He was watching the lottery.
What did he pull?
8 and 10.
No, some sort of like sore back or leg or whatever that might open up a spot for 10
Riley.
days.
8 and 10. I can't.
Well, 8 and 10 is better than just your one pick.
I
so
know,
you're
but
getting 2 guys. I don't know. But we said we're going
I'll
to be
tell
positive.
you what it is. It's like coal in your stocking. That's
8
what
and
it is.
10.
You get up, it's Christmas. What's in the stocking?
We're about to
All
watch
I
the
got was a
Lakers.
rock.
The Lakers they're going to get John Morant or Zion, and we're going to wonder why the hell every year they're so.
You could have Zion and LeBron James.
Or John Morant, LeBron James.
It ain't right.
Frank Vogel's going to walk into this. Frank Vogel's going to walk into this.
Well, they only gave him 3 years, so they can get him out of here quickly. Get the guy they want, turn it over.
Jason Kidd can backstab him a little quicker than
I got to take a deep breath. I'm not very comfortable.
I think he's already got blood on the knife coming in.
No doubt.
Good 8 and 10.
I'm hurt.
I thought for sure we'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 10.
I'll recover in the morning. I'm a weakened man.
I'm gonna end up with bowl and.
Yeah, that's what you're probably looking at.
2 5s.
Do you understand the Hawks had an 8.8% chance of getting the 8th pick? 8.8. We had a better chance of getting the 1 through 4. We got the 8.
Day after. Someone's asking if we have a day after.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
That's actually a good question.
It ain't far off. The day after show is in effect tomorrow. And
can't-
again, he's still 2
I don't
top
want to
10
name
picks.
any. I don't want to name any names. I will not name any names.
Here we go.
No, I won't name any names.
Just name the damn name.
Is it one guy that rides with
What's
Babini?
with the people behind the camera all fist pumping?
Oh yeah, we got Laker
high-fiving?
Fakers fans. Oh, Knicks fan. I like how we hear this stuff, man. Biggest fake Lakers.
I heard
I'll
now.
tell you if you're a Knicks fan. Who's Cassie Russell?
Oh, he wouldn't know.
All right.
He born in '88, Dimino.
Hey, you're going to need some dark
Know your
liquor, home
history.
team.
Do you know John
Well, can
Starks
you
at
mix
least?
dark liquor and champagne? I've never tried that before.
I'm
I do
looking
have
at
to
these
be at work
numbers.
at
Hold
9
on.
o'clock in the morning
The
with Joe
Lakers
Hamilton.
had a 2% chance of getting the 1, a 2.2 of getting the 2,
2%
a 2.4% of the 3, and a 2.8 getting the 4, and they're going to end up in the top
So
4.
8% total to be
Yes.
picking somewhere.
Correct.
And it worked.
What was the Pelicans' number? They only had a 6% chance to get the 1 and a 7% chance to land in the top 4, and there they are.
They need to rethink this lottery thing.
Let me ask you one question.
Do they? They just did a year ago.
So if
Do it
Anthony,
again.
If Anthony Davis leaves New Orleans, they're done, right?
Well,
Yes.
Does the league have any interest in keeping him there, where they all of a sudden get the number 1
Do
pick?
they care about New
and
Orleans that
No,
much?
no, that's
No,
what I'm
no.
asking. They're
They
not
do not.
supposed to.
No.
They care about.
How about we what if we for a second just say it's not rigged and this is just the bad luck of the draw? Is that a possibility?
You can go with that if you want. I told you. They want somebody in L.A. They want somebody in
They
New
have
York.
somebody. His
You
name is
just read the
LeBron.
numbers. You have the evidence right there. What are you talking? What are you saying? Oh my goodness.
Now Los is right. There are 2 top 10 picks coming to the Hawks. I don't want to kill that notion, and I trust Travis Schlenk a lot, so I want to believe he's going to find the best there.
Should we have tanked more?
No.
It's not worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you lose the Dallas pick and you end up sitting at 9.
Hold on, though.
And that's it.
Hey, home team, you said should we tank more? I'm looking at Phoenix, who tanked, and they're now 6.
I'm looking at the Knicks.
I'm looking at Cleveland, who tanked, and they're at 5. I mean,
I'm looking at the Knicks. A tanking team is up front.
you think they get? All right, here we go. We're back here with
So
the
ridiculous.
Knicks, Lakers, Bulls, Pelicans are your top 4 with Kyle Kuzma representing the Lakers.
It's gonna be playing with Zion.
Elliot Perry representing the Grizzlies. Then we have the Pelicans. Oh, there's the Pelicans. And the Knicks.
And the Grizzlies, nobody remembered were even. We forgot quickly. That
Who did
they
I
were
put in there
actually
that's not supposed to be there?
You got Lakers.
You got Lakers, Knicks,
Pelicans.
Pelicans,
Grizzlies.
and Grizzly. So who else fell out? So New York, Cleveland, and Phoenix both fell out.
You had three that fell out.
All right, here we go. Let's see who's got pick number 3 right now in the world that's better than ours.
All right. They don't deserve it.
Lakers get the 3. Go back to your hole.
Sit down.
Go get ours.
Get ready for
the
mellow
Lakers
ball.
the 4. I apologize. They're the 4.
Knicks get the 3.
It's going to be the Pelicans or the Grizzlies for Zion. What about the Pelicans with Anthony Davis and Zion?
I just said. So what?
Are you doing the it's rigged thing?
Can you make him matter?
Pelicans get the 1.
AD can ride.
The Grizzlies get the 2, and the New Orleans Pelicans will land Zion Williamson.
And Anthony Davis, I don't know if he
Let me ask you
gets
this,
the
though.
whole thing.
Can you parlay and trade an Anthony now and get something big and then combine it with Zion? Because you're not going to keep both those guys. It's not going to keep Anthony Davis there to have Zion.
No, Anthony Davis is gone.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's an interesting scenario.
She's getting out of there right now.
Oh, I want to get a look. She is. Jamie didn't even wait to be off camera.
Get out of here, girl.
Oh, the Twister came in. Twister.
She was pulling a me.
Why is
Like,
Gilbert
I'm
Godfrey doing the lottery, though, is what I want to know.
She should have found one of those lost boys and bitten somebody, pulling those numbers, turn him into a vampire. This is wrong.
I'm going to say with Losha, again, I want it higher. Don't get me wrong. 2 top 10 picks, I can work with that.
But that's not a today thing.
That's an 8 and a 10.
Come on. That's not a now.
It's not a 1 and a 10.
Dimino, I'm trying to be positive.
There are 3s and 4s that bust out of this league. I got to go 8 and 10. And I'm not telling you can't find them. And I'm not telling you there hasn't been a great 8 pick and there hasn't been a great 10 pick. And I do trust his GM, by the way. I really, my best feeling about this is I trust the GM.
Wait a minute. Zion's going to be in New Orleans, though. That's not good for him or the league.
No, it's not.
No.
So just his rookie contract.
And those
3-4
people,
years.
those people don't deserve Zion Williamson.
They don't. They're gonna have Drew
care about.
Brees.
They have a football GM running the basketball team.
They're going to have Drew Brees.
No, he's leaving.
And they're going to have Zion Williams.
Could they trade Zion for
Could they
what?
just fold up and just say, we don't really need a franchise here?
Now they know
Let's
they're going to
trade
lose.
Zion.
If they lose AD, now this gives them a ticket to have people come to their arena.
That's true.
So at least
He is that.
for them, but for the league, this is not. Well, I'm not breaking. I'll stay on here for 4 hours. You can tell me to break. I'm perturbed. Open that bottle.
Wait, is Zion crying?
I'm crying. I don't know about Zion.
I think Zion was just crying.
Do you
I
I think it's funny, though. The Knicks fell to 3, so they can be miserable, too. They won't even get John Morant, or they won't get Zion, so screw them. The Lakers got 4, which doesn't make me feel good, but it's still not a great 4 or 11 in this draft.
They blow the second overall pick on a regular basis.
I'm just going by.
They got 2 years in a row with Ingram and Lonzo?
Yeah.
Correct.
2 more. Let's be positive.
Okay.
Steph Curry was in the top 5.
He was 7.
Kawhi Leonard.
He was 11.
In the top 5.
Kawhi was 6'15".
CJ McCollum. I'm looking at the people in the playoffs
I
right
agree.
now. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I agree.
He's back end of the first round.
Do we have to take a break? Does that mean we're coming back? That assumes. All right.
Cycle in the next group.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back and do something next.
Golf course is in great shape. Forrester, these guys at Legacy Lanier had it in just championship form out there. Greens were perfect, able to make a lot of putts today.
And Team Blue defeats Team Kincaid 18 under to 16 under. And why are you cheering, Caitlin?
Sorry.
Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sorry, John. Why are you cheering? Dogs!
Head over to 680thefan.com/Buck&Kincaid Classic to reserve your place today.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Get off of me!
We brought the A game today.
Yeah! You can rally! Let's go!
Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th Anniversary Retro T-shirt, like Hudson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retrobuck. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good.
680 The Fan is giving you another shot to get back on the course. The second green card of the season is on sale this Friday, and it's bigger than ever. With bigger courses like Harper Club on Lake Oconee, Bears Best, the Orchard Resort Golf Club, Heritage Golf Links, and Cherokee Run Golf Club. Our first card sold out in 20 minutes, so make sure you're there early this Friday before they sell out, only at 680thefan.com.
All right, we continue here on our draft night lottery extravaganza. We were hoping for 1, top 3. Instead, we got 8 and 10. We're not upset about it at all.
Speak for yourself. You tell your voice sounds a little.
I'm fine.
The long chin of losing. We've seen it a long time. It's all right, Turner. We'll get through it.
And I don't want to do the whole Atlanta thing tomorrow. I don't want to, like, I'm not doing it. This is Atlanta, and I just...
Are you sure? Because it doesn't sound really believable right now.
You guys go ahead. Introduce yourselves. Tell everybody what you want to talk about.
Well, my name is Brandon, a.k.a. B-Dog.
What up, folks? It's Brian, Book the Hook.
I'm disturbed. That's who I am.
Your boy Houston down here.
Come on, man.
Come on, Dimino.
Say something positive. Make me feel good, guys.
I pulled out stuff from
I need something positive.
Well, it's still 2 top 10 picks.
Hey, the Cardinals are up 11-0 on the Braves.
Man, it's a tough night, bro. This is a rough night.
Is this one of those Atlanta nights? Are we having one of those?
I think I was on E when I came in.
Are we doing this tonight?
Oh, no.
Is this one of those nights?
I thought it was going to be different. I really thought it was
So
going to
did
be different.
I thought this was...
Oh, man. Here's the question I have. Can Travis Schlenk navigate through this? Navigate us through this? I could make the argument with what he's had in a short amount of time. He hasn't made any bad picks. You could say Amari Spellman didn't get a chance to play, a little bit overweight, but still, he hasn't made any bad picks. From John Collins to Kevin Herter to Trey Young, he hasn't made any bad picks. Can we make the argument the man can take what you give him and turn it into something successful for the city and Lloyd Pierce?
I can, but at 8 and 10, I mean, these are just such rolls of the dice. Most years 8 and 10, but this year especially, there's talent to be found there, but like, this is all, once you get past Ja and past Zion in this one, this is the eye of the beholder, right? Do you like Cam Reddish more than you like R.J. Barrett or Jarrett Culver more than you like DeAndre Hunter? Like, I don't know. I thought in the top 5 you'd have a shot at Hunter. I think Hunter's off the board. That was one of the ones we liked.
And I've been telling these guys a lot lately, you know, even though Cam Reddish was the 3rd option at Duke, the way he plays, his shooting ability, the way he can defend on the perimeter, he's 6'7" with a long wingspan. If he's there for the Hawks, I think he could be a really good player for the Atlanta Hawks. I really do, if he's there.
But I couldn't tell you he's going to be at 8 and 10. Again,
I don't think Cam is.
Yeah, he might not be. But if he is there, because we know that these drafts don't always go as predicted.
Right.
If he is there, I think that is a big pickup for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. The one that, again, I brought up the scenario of trading one of the picks for an established player. Would you take the 2 picks and trade them for something established if somebody's willing to listen?
Where these picks are, yes. Could somebody who's established be better than 2 possibles at 8 and 10 in this draft? See, the other thing is, it also depends on what draft you're in. This looks like it's going to be an okay draft. Your heat was up front. So now that you're a little bit further back, is somebody who needs some help, somebody who's going to lose a superstar, somebody who's going to lose a big cannon. Will they be able to talk some turkey now? I think you keep that on the table.
Where did the Wizards end up, remind me?
I think they got 7.
Okay, so again, my Bradley Beal thing will come up again, and maybe I'm just being safe. Could you try to trade those 2 picks for Bradley Beal, and now the Wizards would have 3 picks, and they could kind of start over, and you could take a really young, talented 25-year-old with a couple of years under contract?
You could. I'd try it out. Yeah. I definitely see if they would budge on that. Obviously, to have somebody like Bradley Beal in the backcourt with Trey, being able to shoot the ball, being able to defend, I think that's something that you have to try and see, see if we can try to pull him away from
I can't give up both of those picks, though. I can't give up both, because at that point, you're setting yourself back a year. Like, you're getting older with Bradley Beal.
He's 25. You're not getting much older. He fits into the young mold.
You're really saying that Bradley Beal is worth 2 top 10 picks?
No, I'm not saying he's worth it. I'm saying in this draft, he might be worth these 2 top 10 picks.
I would take one. I'd take one. Go get your center.
Exactly.
I've been screaming about Jackson Hayes for a while. Go get a young center. If it's Bowl, go get a young center.
I'm not going to sit on the fence for the next month, but I can't sit here and like lobby for somebody. Like I've seen a little of Jackson Hayes. I've had fun with Bowl because I like the potential.
I just like his name.
I love his name, but I also I can shoot 3. But he can't play any defense. Like I can't sit here and lobby. Like, who am I going to? Got to get Jackson Hayes. I can't tell you got to get Jackson Hayes. I don't know enough about these kids. Hopefully Travis Schlenk, and I'm sure he does, to have some perspective. But 8 and 10 in this kind of a draft, you might as well be picking 14 and 16.
Might as well.
And again, so now you talk about as far as needs, filling out your roster, depth, what Coach Lloyd Pierce wants, defensive guys. Somebody's going to have to come in here and play a little bit of defense. Offense certainly will get us where we need to go quicker, but now that you're a little further back, your offensive options seem to have fizzled out a little bit later in the back end of the draft. So maybe you get somebody who's a little bit more established on the defensive side of the ball. I say go get a center, go get your young guy so you don't have to, keep chasing a big guy or stretch 4 or stretch 5 around the league.
So, because my mind went after a blur after I saw it. So, the Pelicans got the 1. Did Memphis get the 2? Is that?
That is correct.
They got an older Mike Conley, so they could take John Morant. At time.
You take John Morant if you're in Memphis.
You guys don't have to yell at me. I'm just asking. You guys are very passionate.
My voice carries.
I'm just mad now.
Everybody got very aggressive over the John Morant to Memphis thing. I like your passion.
Ping pong balls.
So then. And number 3, we had the Knicks, right? So then it's like an R.J. Barrett or a Cam Reddish or boy, the Knicks must feel snake bit, man.
All that losing, all that time, and they got him number 3.
Same thing with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Cleveland.
It's funny because last year, it worked out the top 3 worst teams got the picks in the order.
Well, that was the old numbers, though.
Yeah, right. This is the new year where they mix some things up. So there you go. To your point that you made earlier, Adam Silver at CNC, I told you so.
The numbers
Stop this tanking mess or else something like this could happen.
Well, and I guess I'll add to it, this is a 2-guy draft, and there'll be somebody else who pops up who's good. I'm not saying that Cam Reddish can't be good or these guys, but this is a 2-prize draft. And the 3 teams that stunk the most and gave their fans miserable basketball aren't getting either one. Yeah. That kind of makes me less miserable.
And the cities that need them the most. When you start looking at New York City, they need a star. Now what do? They have the number 3 pick is R.J. Barrett.
Kevin Durant's going to go there now.
Yeah, is that going to draw Kevin Durant and Kyrie in? Good luck with that.
Well, this offseason is their lottery.
Well, let's add to it. The league, this is why we joke about rigged. The league could not want these 2 kids ending up in Memphis and New Orleans, and that's what they're going to get out of this draft. With the Lakers and New York being piggybacking, it's on the level. I hate to, it didn't work out for us. It's on the level.
Yeah, another part of it is how about what it does to the variety of the league. You still have a top-heavy star power load on the Western Conference side of the ledger.
Right.
Now, if John Morant and Zion Williamson end up in those cities, there are more stars now over in the West, and you still have a dearth in the East, and Kyrie Irving could be leaving, and that could take one other guy away.
So if I'm trying to think this through with New Orleans. Anthony Davis, I think, is still going to leave. He wants to go somewhere where they can compete. And with Zion, we all love it. They're not going to compete right away, especially in the West. If you're New Orleans and you play this right, you might be able to put a nice young core together if you make the right deal. I don't know. You're not going to get equal value for Anthony Davis, but maybe that's somebody's. Is there somebody in this draft? Do the Lakers all of a sudden now say we got the 4th pick and now we're in play?
You try it out.
If you're the Lakers, you put that number 4 pick into that Anthony Davis package now. I think that package looks a lot more attractive at this point now with the Lakers.
With a top 5 pick and whatever they're. See, the problem is the luster came off their young core, but with the 4 pick, all of a sudden it looks a little bit, whether it's Kuzma and 4 and a future number 1.
4 and Ingram.
Something, right. All of a sudden the Lakers can go, all right, Anthony Davis now and then. See, I do think Kyrie's in play out there. I don't think they beat the Warriors with that team because they don't shoot it well enough, but Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and LeBron, it gives you a fighting shot.
Do you think I know they kind of apologized and dapped it up, but do you think they reconcile it and he goes out west?
Well, it would be the ultimate, admitting I was wrong if I'm Kyrie, because you admit I'm not Batman, I'm Robin. But at the same time, do you want to go win?
That's true.
Tell me this. If you're Kyrie and you're not going to stay with the Celtics, where's a better option than the Lakers?
We talked about it earlier.
You're not going to the Knicks. If he goes to the Knicks with Kevin Durant, they'll be better. That's not a great team still with somebody whole.
It's just those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Right. Whoever's coming in.
What about, and I know Brooklyn made the playoffs this year, but Brooklyn may want to get a sit down on both of them. That's a better option than the Knicks.
Oh, agreed. And Kyrie, I guess we've heard rumors that Kyrie could consider the Nets at some point. So I think all this stuff's in play. I think these guys are not going to make their mind up until they make their mind up in July. Right, so I think all this stuff is out there. The Laker thing has all of a sudden just gotten more realistic because they have the pick now to use as collateral.
And he's got his relationship with Jason Kidd, and it's a situation where he's eating humble pie. He wants to go back. It looks like, it feels like, wants to go back with LeBron and see if they can put the band back together one more time and get back to the top of the mountain. So yeah, I think he's gonna opt out of that last year, and he'll be out on the West Coast.
Gentlemen, I hate to wrap this up, but it's time to wrap this up.
Good, we got games going.
All right. Thank you to the whole crew, everybody behind the scenes. Caitlin, thank you. Brandon, Joseph, Murph, Stu, everybody for making this possible. Thanks to Mike for doing all the brain work, putting this all together.
Don't drink too much, Matt.
I'm already drunk on just sadness.
Let's pop on.
Tomorrow morning, make sure you wake up at the front row at 6 a.m. and then Nick and Chris after Buck and Kincaid will join you at 3 o'clock.
Home Team, get on the Sports X now, 9 o'clock,
Correct.
9 to noon, the Hall of Famer, Joe Hamilton, Home Team and Hamilton show on the Sports X.
Take us out with some words to make us feel better.
Joy comes in the morning.
Good night.
Golf course is in great shape. Forrester, these guys at Legacy Lanier had it in just championship form out there. Greens were perfect, able to make a lot of putts today.
And Team Blue,